Well, I think the overall idea that we know as administrators, but we always have to remind ourselves of, is what can we learn from the research? You know, we are always trained to look at data, but sometimes we need to also remind ourselves to look at what can we learn from the best research-based practices in education.
I think I learned a few things that I could take back.
Good.
One of which is looking at the MTSS guidebook in our district and aligning that to the Danielson framework.
One of the main takeaways I had from today's forum was just really trying to take the MTSS, that information, and analyze what we're doing in our school and seeing what we've been doing with our RTI model and how we can really grow that and to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all students.
Biggest takeaway was how in our district we would use our school improvement teams at the school level and how we would work better with our service teams, which are our MTSS teams.
I enjoyed everything. This keynote around the whole MTSS and RTI, and it's not a verb, it's a process. I love that. Being interconnected around data, those strong interdependent data-driven leadership teams was powerful for me, and being intentional on making sure that the whole district and the schools, the classroom level, we're all talking about data, looking at data, and have a systemic approach in how we all know what's going on around the data. Because if you have that approach around data, you know what your data is, then you're going to be able to service your students and all your learners, not just particular learners, but all your learners.
Yes.
Well, the thing that really struck me during the conversations this morning that I see as a gap at my school that we need to work on, I think all schools are implementing RTI, of course, and we know that we progress monitor these students in the multi-tiers, but is our intensive instruction in Tier 2 and Tier 3 really being developed from the screenings? It really needs to follow that data and follow through in those intensive the focus on their intensive interventions.
I can see us actually having more conversations with our district leadership team around data, having data to guide some of the work and having data-driven decisions.
Applications I can think of would be to get our special education students and our intervention students together in the same groups. I'm not sure that's happening as much as it could be. So that would be one of the areas I'll look to when I get back to school.
Well, we already have leadership teams across our whole system. We have the district level, the school level, and the classroom level leadership teams. So now taking this information back as far as being intentional on how we look at our data, because we have data days embedded into our system, but being more intentional what data to look at and how we're looking at it so that we know exactly what's going on so that we can drive our professional development across our whole system. So we've been doing that, but I don't think the intentional piece and the monitoring piece has always been in place. And so now we're really going to hit that hard.